Now, whether or not organized labor will be a major talking point at the DNC remains to be seen. But joining me now for a preview of the convention is RT correspondent Liz Wall in Charlotte. Hey there, Liz. So a lot of controversy surrounding the venue. Why North Carolina?
That's exactly it, Megan. A lot of controversy surrounding the decision to hold the Democratic National Convention right here in Charlotte. As I mentioned in that report, Charlotte is one of the 23 right-to-work states. But beyond that, Charlotte also has some of the harshest anti-union laws in the country. And of course, with a huge event like this, attracting scores of delegates and members of the media descending upon Charlotte, staying in hotels, and the hotels here happen to not be unionized. So a lot of union members not happy about that, which could pose a problem for President Obama, because back in 2008, they donated more than $8 million to his campaign. So they were key in getting President Obama elected. This time around, a lot of union members that I spoke to say that they are not willing to dish out the dough for President Obama's campaign, and are critical of the fact that he would choose Charlotte, such a place that is not hospitable to unions, to hold this venue. Another thing that makes Charlotte controversial is that it is known as it's the second largest banking headquarters in the United States, second only to Wall Street, of course, in New York City. So that's why protesters have dubbed Charlotte as Wall Street of the South. And on Sunday, they staged a protest. Organizers say over 1,500 people showed up, organizing, protesting against some of the same grievances that we saw during the Occupy Wall Street movement. Started at Zuccotti Park, spread across the country. We're hearing some of the same grievances here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they dub Wall Street of the South.
And Liz, we know that the RNC was well prepared to handle protesters. It ended up being pretty anticlimactic with the protesters and police kind of getting along. What's it like down there? What's security like?
Well, I'm going to say for the most part, the big event in terms of protesting was on Sunday. 1,500 people showing up, protesting. As far as I know, the protests have remained peaceful. I think I only heard of one arrest, but I can say that the security here is very heavy-handed. We have local police forces, we have the FBI, we have the CIA, we have Homeland Security. Even getting here to the venue to do this report was a disaster. We were stuck in traffic, doing circles, blockades everywhere to actually get into the venue. There was scores of police officers literally creating a barricade with their bicycles, blocking, encircling the convention center. So definitely protesters, even if they want to, they're on a very tight leash. Charlotte, in anticipation of this event, enacted some laws to prevent protests from getting out of control. They established this so-called free speech zone, where protesters not happy about that. It's quite far from the actual center of the actual event, the designated free speech zone. And some protesters I spoke to say, you know what? All of America is supposed to be a free speech zone, not this small cornered off area in this abandoned parking lot where we're allowed to voice our free speech. But for the most part, it hasn't gotten too crazy, but I absolutely would describe the security as a very, very heavy-handed.
And Liz, there's a lot of hawkish talk about foreign policy at the RNC, with many of the speakers, notably Secretary of State, former Secretary Condoleezza Rice, taking a hard line against Iran and preaching that the importance of the U.S. standing by its traditional ally, Israel. Relations between Obama and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have been strained, to say the very least. Do you think we'll see some of that repeated at the DNC?
Well, it's hard to tell. As we saw in the Republican National Convention, foreign policy seemed mostly off the table until we heard from John McCain and Condoleezza Rice and their hawkish speeches, trying to ramp up support for military intervention inside of Syria, and also cracking down on Iran. It's hard to tell whether or not that is going to be a big talking point here at the Democratic National Convention. What I can say, though, is late last night, the Democratic National Convention released their platform, which basically lays out the vision for the Democratic Party and also what they see as accomplishments. And they did mention, they did reiterate the president's his allegiance or his dedication to nurturing strong ties with Israel. Of course, this is something both parties, it's a bipartisan issue. Everybody wants to portray themselves as friends, an ally of Israel. And President Obama did say in this platform, the president has worked with Congress to increase security assistance to Israel every single year since taking office, providing nearly $10 billion in the past 3 years. So, of course, there he is trying to reiterate his allegiance to the country.
All right, RT correspondent Liz Wall. Thank you so much for your reporting, and we can't wait to hear more from Charlotte. Thank you.